Hello everyone, Shaheen is here. Week 8, Tuesday. This is a Anzac day and public holiday. For that reason, I'm recording a computer session lab for Tuesday students, so you can watch this recorded video to catch up with what you missed. And this week, everything is about the embodiment. If you go to the computer lab, there are a few things you want to perform. The first is I'm going to show you how to make an animation of your project assembly. So in SolidWorks, you make an assembly. It's a good idea to record session from that 3D, and that is a nice way of communicating your information with your teammates, or even if you want to use that in week 11 project presentation, a video would be a nice graphics to be added to every presentation. Also, I'm going to show you how to generate a bill of material for a given 3D model. I mean, you will be doing this to your project, but here for demonstration, I have prepared an assembly, and from that assembly, I show you how to generate bill of material. And then you know that bill of material is essential for eco-audit and life cycle analysis of your project. So that is how you make the bill of material. And also bill of material is a deliverable item for your presentation and for your project plan and also for your project report. So this week there is no quiz, but keep in mind you still have to do you have to complete the assessment task 3. So yes, if you have any question, just send an email to me. So once you finish the 3D modeling, one common question is how to make the PDF out of the 3D model. Here I have 2 videos for you in week 8 assessment. So the first one is to make a 3D PDF. That is just piece of information not applicable to your project. If you make a 3D PDF, people with a proper PDF browser, they can explore the 3D model without having access to the SolidWorks. So this is a read-only 3D model. They can rotate, zoom in, measure, but they cannot modify anything. But for the sake of assessment, you have to provide PDF of your drawing. So from the drawing, the second video shows you how to generate a 2D PDF. That is what you need for your assessment. Okay, so having said that, let's go back to recording a video and making an exploded view, recorded animation from an exploded view, and also making a bill of material. Starting with, I have a 3D model here for you. This 3D model is to make a drill inside a piece at an angle. So this is a jig for making drill hole and countersink at an angle. So this is very useful for joining the wooden part without using a glue. So that is the assembly for, here I have a guide which my drill is going through this one, and that makes sure the drill is made at a certain angle to the wooden piece, which is held between this clamp. And the clamp, as you can see, is adjustable by releasing this clamp bolt. This becomes released along the slot, moving axially. So once you adjust the width of the wood which goes inside, you can drill a hole at a certain position, and that makes the joining of 2 pieces at the right angle quite comfortable. So this is quite the case in many situations. You would like to record a video of your 3D model. So how you do this, that is, I mean, you can type record here, that brings this toolbox over there. So with that toolbox, activated. So to start, initiate a video recording, what you do, you press that icon. It asks you about just do it again. Okay. So it asks me about the name for the recording or format. I would like to record this as the MP4, and these are the settings. I won't change them, and that's the folder which it would be recorded into. So yes, let's save this one. And now anything I do on this screen would be recorded. For example, I want to show you that this is while rotating that knob, you can release and move this one back and forth for adjusting the width. Also, yeah, these both are releasable. That is the drill bit. It moves like so. And here we have a bush, a guiding bush. And also that's a locking nut, which you can use this one to adjust how deep the hole should be made. And this does two holes together. You can interchange that push. And for example, during the recording, maybe you want to isolate some parts for a clear demonstration. So that is how you isolate some certain part, and then you bring this back, or you want to just isolate this component to see how does it look like by itself. And once I finish, now I can stop recording by clicking stop video record. And it takes a few minutes for that video to be rendered. And now this is finished. If I go to that folder where I did the recording, so here I have the MP4 recording. So that's a nice video. I can easily include that into my presentation. See, I don't need to have PowerPoint in a computer to run this video for demonstration. So I strongly recommend everyone can follow these steps to make a recording of their design product. So that's one way of communicating the result. The other thing, the second thing I'm gonna show you today, that is called exploded view. So what is exploded view? This assembly is in an operational sequence. If someone wants to have this one, for example, disassembled or repaired or for maintenance purposes, for many reasons, or even you want to describe this one, it's a good idea to make an exploded view. Exploded view is something you find in brochures, in the repair manuals. If you have gone to IKEA, then the assembly instruction comes with exploded view. So how to make an exploded view? You go to the assembly tab. Here there is one toolbar. This is called exploded view. So you start the exploded view, and then I got a menu to the left. There are two modes of um, moving the part. The one is the normal one, like how do I explode this system? Well, the first thing I will be taking these bolts away. So that should be not in a regular mode, but in a radial mode. So I pick the radial, and at the same time, let me select this one and holding the shift, selecting the second one. And now only one arrow shows, but even that arrow, if I drag, it would bring the parts apart in a radial fashion. So that is the first explosion thing which you need. Second, you have to take this one away. So let me select that and go back to the normal. So now I have a triad which lets me to rotate or move this along XYZ. So I want to pull this one along the X direction. That is finished. The next step of the disassembly is I would like to have this item and that item to be move. So I'm just bringing that one out. The next thing is want to release that whoosh, but this requires a radial mode. So let's select this one and hold the shift, select the second one, and now only one arrow, but when I pull that, both of them, they move apart in a radial fashion. Next, I want to bring the drill bit away. So I go back to the normal mode, selecting this one. And if I pull that, this would go in a radial direction. Done. And finally, let's select this one and that one in normal mode. And we want them to be moved in a X direction. Done. And finally, that guiding block can have this one moved down. And here I have finished with the disassembly. Let's finish the operation. So now I generated one disassembly. If you go and right click on the assembly here, by going to the collapse, it brings all the components back to the original configuration. If you click and say explode, that will separate them. And if you want to record the explosion in a video format, you go to the animate collapse, and then you will get a menu for recording there. So just by clicking this one, you get access to the settings. I want to record this as an MP4 and I call this as a exploded. All right, so that is rendering the movement. It takes a while for this to be generated and recorded. Once this is finished, you will have a nice MP4 self-contained, and that can be included in your recording. So let me show you how does the recording look like. That is the exploded view. It's a very small file, you see, but nice for inclusion inside the PowerPoint. So if I open that with some media player like VLC, I can see how, okay. Yeah, that is the animation of the explosion. And that's a very good way of showing that in a presentation or in a job interview, something like that would be very impressive. All right, now we finish with how an animation can be generated. Two ways of making animation. One is a hand-free animation as you are working with your 3D model. The second animation was that of a exploded view. The next thing which I'm going to show you is to make a bill of material. You know that the bill of material is essential for every life cycle analysis or eco-audit. How this can be done? First, from the assembly view, that's your 3D assembly, you have to go to File and make a drawing from the assembly first. So it asks you what paper size you want. In this case, I will be using a A0 because that's a large assembly. And then I can choose which view to be included inside the drawing. I can include the isometric one here, which is a little bit too large for that paper size, but that's okay. I can go to the scale and change that from 2:1 to 1:1. That makes it smaller. Even if I want to make that reduce further, you can make it 2:1 or 1:2. 1:2, that's small enough. And once you have this view, I just locate this in where I want. And then it's a good idea to add ballooned, number ballooned to each individual component. One here, one here, one there. All right, so these numbered balloons are a great way of making reference to the shape inside your instruction manual or whatever. So now I finished with adding the balloons. Remember, we wanted to generate a bill of material for that. All right, how this is done, you go to the annotation tab, and here you have the list of available tables. The table we want to generate that is called bill of material. It's very important. So it asks me bill of material for, I have to select the view. So this is the view I want to, and then a very important selection here is you have an option, what type of bill of material. I would go to the first one. It has all the fields listed here. All right, so if I approve this one, that brings my bill of material. I can place this wherever I want. And okay, so now this bill of material is empty. The only thing it has is the part number. Let me, well, this is the part name, not part number. I can customize this one, but how to fill in the values? So there are 8 items here. The quantity of each item is listed here, but everything else like material, stock size, weight, vendor, these are all empty. Let me take a note of what fields I would like to include here. The first field, let me make some empty space here. I want to include part ID. Also, I want to include material is already there. Stock size is already there. And weight is already there. Vendor is already there. Maybe one more thing is manufacturing method. All right, so these are the items I would like to have them included in my bill of material. So to start, let's go to the first item here. I click, right click and go open. This is the part. So from here, that would open up the part for me. And when you have the parts, I noticed that the material is blank. So let's assign some material to it. And let's make this one ABS. So this is the material. Okay. And next thing, I go to the file properties. And then here, remember the fields that I mentioned. The first field was material. And I have to make sure the spelling is exactly the same as what was. So here, automatically, the chosen material is fetched. Second field, I want to put part ID. And here, for this part, I give this a number. For example, P-1. So it automatically comes here. The third item I would like to include is the stock size. And that is something, for example, 10 by 20 by 9. And the next thing is the vendor. eBay, you buy this from eBay. And manufacturing method. So exactly the very same way for the rest of the parts, I have to use this one. This is from diecast. All right, so this is enough for now. I'm happy with having 5 fields here. So let's save this item. Once you save, it takes you back to the bill of material, but this time I have, well, description is empty. Stock size is empty, weight is empty. So let's see what happened. All right, so I click here, and then let me insert a column to the left, and this one can be manufacturing method. So manufacturing method is diecast. So let me add one more column here, insert column to the right, and that one I'm going to call that material is already there, part ID. So the part ID would appear, and then let me insert a column here, and this one I call this weight. Or stock size. Okay, stock size is there. What is missing? Material is there. Stock size, weight for some reason isn't there. Let me see if I can include. If we include weight, let's just go back to the part again. Let's open the part. Let's see if we added the weight when we were there. If I go to the properties of the part, yeah, that's why. Weight was not included initially, right? And in this one, you select mass. Okay, so now mass is in 90 grams. Okay, so let's save this one. If I go to the bill of material, now I can insert a column at the right, and that I make this weight. And you see, automatically the weight in gram appears here. So you have to do the same thing for the second part. You open the part here, and that part, I don't know what language that is, but whole key, it doesn't have any material. Let's make this out of plain carbon steel. And then we go to the properties. And then the first thing is material. And you choose material here, and material that automatically goes there. The second one is part ID. And that I call this P2. And the next field is stock size. That is 525 by 30 by 55. And the next field is weight. And that you in mass automatically based on this plain carbon, the mass on volume based on the density are calculated. Next item is vendor. So you buy this from Bosch. and manufacturing method. So I don't remember if with that drawing we put that dot here, but let us turn it. That's the manufacturing method. So let's go back, save this one. Okay, so yes, that is correct. And then you just continue doing that one by one, assigning the material, filling in, and then all information you provide at the part level, that would be fetched. These are linked to the bill of material. So whenever you go and change something in the part level, the bill of material automatically would be updated. Okay, so that is the demonstration for how to make the bill of material. And I hope you can use this demonstration for your own project when you are making your presentation or writing your report. If you want to include more than one view in the assembly, that easily can be done. What you do here is you just borrow the component or the assembly, that is the assembly. And for example, further to the assembly exploded view, I might want to have also the isometric view included here, and also I might want to have the right view included here. And either of these shapes, you can change their view to shaded view. This one I can make that to hidden line, for example. That one I can make that to a view like that. Or some bill of material can be moved along the page. And yes, that's a convenient way of communicating your result with your teammate. I hope you find this useful. Any question, feel free to send me email, and I will be happy to help you with that. Take care and see you soon.